What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about how you can create a Peloton and join the Peloton craze for $250 or even potentially less. Check it out. Okay, so Peloton, it's the big craze. I just saw something recently about how Peloton killed some character from Sex in the City or what. I don't know. I've never seen that show. Anyways, Peloton is like the big craze. Especially when the pandemic hit, everybody started buying these Peloton bikes. They're very expensive. They're kind of like this luxury item, and they have online classes that you can follow along. They got live leaderboards, and it became very popular during the pandemic because everybody was locked into their houses, and there was a way to get in your exercise when the gyms were closed. So the first time I ever saw or used a Peloton was for my job. I'm in software development, and we get sent to training conferences every now and then. So about once a year, I'd get sent to a random destination for a week-long training. So the year before the pandemic hit, so 2019, that summer, I was sent to Los Angeles for a training conference that lasted like about 5 days. And while there, I was like, well, I want to be able to work out, but there's no gyms that offer drop-ins right now. And I was kind of, most of the day I'm spent at the training. But by strange chance, I'm guessing this is because it's Los Angeles, the hotel gym had a Peloton, and it was a fully hooked up Peloton, hooked up to the classes and everything. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. I've heard about these before. I've never really ridden one. I've never done a spin class or anything like that, but it seems I'm interested. Part of the reason that I used to go to CrossFit gyms, and I still do CrossFit, but I just don't have a current home gym, or I should say a gym that I go to regularly, that has a group class, is that I like the competitive part of that. The fact that you're in a group of people does make you push a little bit harder. You see somebody that's a couple reps ahead of you, or in the case of the Peloton, their cadence is a little higher than you, or they're pushing a little harder, their heart rate's up a little bit more, and you're like, okay, I want to be a little bit better than them. Or you see the person at the top of the leaderboard, and you're like, oh, I want to go there. For some people, that really is helpful, and I'm one of those people that the little bit of a competitive edge does help you push a little bit harder. So I jumped on the Peloton in this Los Angeles hotel and did like 2 classes while I was there, and I really enjoyed it. It was actually a lot of fun. And then when I got home, I was like, well, I keep hearing about these things, and now I've ridden one. It's a really nice machine. It's an interesting idea, these live online classes. And I was like, okay, well, how much are these? So I go online. I see, like, at the time, I think it was like $2,000. I think now they have a $1,500 model and a $2,500 model. And I was like, no way. There's no way I'm paying that much. Absolutely not. Right. And so time goes on and stuff. And then I started reading online about how some people were doing these Peloton hacks. And I'm like, okay, well, what is this? I'm kind of curious. So I found out that you can basically buy any bike you want, including just use your like, if you have a street bike, you could even use that, but then you'll have to buy like the kickstand adapters where the back tire like falls into it so that you can be stationary. But anyways, you can buy any sort of stationary setup that you want, and you can buy something called a Wahoo cadence sensor, which is made by a company named Wahoo. That's kind of like the gold standard in like cycling technology and training equipment. Like, they have these really nice training equipment things for triathletes and stuff. They're very expensive for the full setups, but this little cadence sensor is only like $35-$40. That's all you need, and you just need a smartphone or an iPad, something where you can download the Peloton app. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to buy a cheap bike, a very cheap bike, on Amazon. It took a little while to get here. I mean, it's the holidays, so shipping times are not that great right now. But I bought a cheap bike. I bought the cheap Wahoo sensor, and I already have a smartphone or an iPad. Most people already have something like that. So I'm going to show you how I put it together, and show you the unboxing, and then I will talk about how it went and how, what I think about it. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll go cut to the footage. Okay, so we are in my garage gym right now, and we're just going to go over how to make this, I guess I'm going to be calling it a Peloton hack. So there's going to be a couple things you need, and most importantly, the bike, obviously. So I'm going to build this bike. Picked it up on Amazon, pretty cheap. They have a lot of different options that you can choose. This one was about $200, but they have ones for even cheaper, 150, and then you can go up as high as 500 or more. But the whole point of this video and this project was to make a cheap Peloton alternative, to join those group biking classes and cycling classes. Another thing you're going to need, and this integrates with the Peloton app, is you're going to need this Wahoo RPM cadence. It's just a device that goes on the bike to wirelessly track your cadence while you're cycling. It's about $40. I think it was even cheaper during Black Friday. I think it might have been as cheap as like 35 or so. So that actually isn't that expensive. If you already have a bike, like a stationary bike, you could just use that and just buy the Wahoo cadence sensor. Another thing you need is a tablet or a smartphone, like iPhone, Android, something like that. Something that can download the Peloton app, and you can sync it with the RPM cadence so that you can actually participate in the classes, and it'll actually keep track of your cadence so that you can actually be on the leaderboards and stuff. You could even, if you just have a bike, set up one of those stationary trainers that are pretty popular with cyclists and stuff. But the problem with that might be that I don't know how much resistance those offer. And a lot of times in the Peloton classes, they want you to go up in resistance or down in resistance. So if you have that ability with a setup like that, then you could go ahead and use that and save yourself some money. Otherwise, you probably want to just buy a bike like this one for anywhere from 150 and up. But again, like I said, the idea here was to do this as cheaply as possible, because the biggest problem I had with the Peloton experience was the price. It's a big hurdle to get over. That's a lot of money, and I was not interested in spending $2,000+ on a bike, just because it had a screen built into it and had some niceties to it. So this bike should be plenty to get by on. It should work just fine. So we're going to go ahead and put this bike together, and then I'll show you how I put it all together and how well it works, and I'll get back to you on that. All right, so I adjusted it for my height. I put it over here by the treadmill. If you want more information about the True Grit curved manual treadmill, you can look at my other video above and check out my review of that. Spoilers, I really love it, but I'll go into detail about it. So I'm going to go ahead and attach the Wahoo device now, and then we'll go over the application setup. So the RPM cadence, the Wahoo RPM cadence, consists of three things in the package. You have the sensor itself right here. You have a sticker for mounting. It's one of the mounting options. And then you have zip tie mounting options. It also looks like there's an additional shoe mounting option, but it looks like that might be a separate purchase. The zip ties just go through a little hole right here, and then the sticker can just go on the back right here, and you can see it just kind of pops right out like that, out of the clip. So also totally forgot the actual cadence sensor right there. So there's actually 4 pieces in here. I thought it was inside this little plastic thing, but it was actually buried in the box somewhere. So this is the cadence sensor. So let's go ahead and put this together, and then I'll mount it to the bike. I'll probably just use the adhesive option because the shoe option would be nice, but I think I'd only use that if I had some dedicated biking shoes, which I might actually look into, but that way you could just attach them to the shoes and it's always ready to go, you know. So all right, so I adjusted it for my height. I put it over here by the treadmill. If you want more information about the True Grit curved manual treadmill, you can look at my other video above and check out my review of that. Spoilers, I really love it, but I'll go into detail about it. So I'm going to go ahead and attach the Wahoo device now, and then we'll go over the application setup. So I set up the cadence monitor here. Let me flash some light on here. So you can see the cadence monitor right here. It's right next to the pedal. And the reason I decided to do this, and I used the zip ties instead of the adhesive, like I said before, because I might switch it over to the shoes. I might actually get some dedicated shoes or something for this. I mean, you could change out these pedals to clip on, you know, so your shoes clip in. But this at least gives me the option to take it off easier if I change things. So, and after I set up the Wahoo Cadence app, it's really easy to set up. Now you can see, let me pull this up here real quick. You can actually see that the Wahoo Cadence is set up here. A really cool feature I didn't know about is if you have a Whoop, it will actually pick up your Whoop heart rate as well, which is a neat feature, especially when you're going to be cycling and stuff. But this isn't the app I'm going to be using, I think, for cycling, because we want to use the Peloton app. But it's nice to know that the Wahoo will keep track of the cadence plus your beats per minute. So let's go ahead and jump on this thing real quick. And you can see, like, as I start to pedal, it's catching up the RPMs, and this is what we want. So when we finally connect to the Peloton app, it'll be able to integrate with the Peloton app and get our rotations per minute. So that'll be the next step. Okay, so we're back. So at this point, I have unboxed it, and I've taken it for a couple runs. I fully set it up. I do really enjoy it. It's an easy way to join the Peloton groups. I wonder if this also works for other of the competitor applications that like Peloton has. Like there's an Echelon bike group that is kind of the same. It's the exact same kind of concept. I don't know. I haven't tested that yet. But for the Peloton thing, I was able to log into the classes and access all of them and join the classes without any problem. And it can show your cadence. So usually the way the classes work are during certain times of the class, they'll be like, okay, crank up your resistance to whatever, and then hit a cadence of 110 or 110 to 120. Now that you have this, you can actually see in the Peloton app if you're hitting that target marker that they gave you. So you can follow along with the class, but you don't have to guess or anything. The only thing you have to guess about, and this might be the draw to the full Peloton bike versus this cheap one, you can decide whether that the money is worth it or not. But I believe if I remember correctly, if you're using the real Peloton bike, when you change the resistance, it does show you on screen what your resistance is. The downfall of this particular method that I've set up is there is no way for it to digitally read the resistance that you have on your bike. So you're kind of guesstimating. But is that so bad? Like, is that really worth the extra $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 or more when you're doing these classes? Like, I can kind of guesstimate that my resistance is at about 40% or it's at 60% just based on feel. If I had to do this again, there's a couple things I would change. The bike I bought, I did not realize this when I bought it, but the way the resistance works is kind of a felt brake system. So as I crank it down, a felt piece like comes down on the flywheel and kind of slows it down. If I was to redo this and do it from scratch again, I'd probably get one that has magnetic resistance. That way the felt won't, because the felt's going to wear down eventually. whereas the magnet probably wouldn't wear down. But again, this is another big pro to doing it this way is if this cheap bike fails on me, I can just swap it out and be reintegrated right back into the Peloton classes. Whereas if your Peloton was to fail, the bike itself, I don't know what their warranty is or what their replacement plan is, but at least this way, the way I have it set up, it's a cheap replacement to replace, or it's an easy replacement at least. You might want to upgrade. As you get in more and more into the Peloton, like the going into class and stuff, maybe you want to upgrade the bike, like from the cheap one I got to something fancier. Be an easy swap. You would just move the Wahoo sensor to the new bike, and you're good to go. So overall, this has been like a really fun experience. Like I said, I'm a bit of a tech person. I work in tech and stuff. So this was kind of a neat way to, I mean, it wasn't even very technical, but it's like, oh, cool, I can actually integrate this stuff in. It's kind of like a high level technology hack. Doesn't require any hard work, no coding, nothing really. It's really you just have to have the right apps to get it all to work together and the right hardware. An interesting thing about this, and I don't know why there's a difference here, but this might be another selling point, is that the Peloton application itself, when you sign up using this method, where you're just bringing your own bike and using the Wahoo sensor, I believe is $12.99 a month. But if you had the actual Peloton bike, it's $39.99. I don't know why they are offering the membership cheaper to people who don't have their hardware than they are the people that paid for the hardware. I don't know what the business model or the business reasoning is there, but I'd be really interested to figure out why. I'm wondering if it's sort of a maintenance fee for their application or for their integration between their hardware and their software, but I really don't know if that's the real reason. So overall, this is a lot of fun. I'd probably give it, like, the whole project, I'd probably give it like the way I built it, I would probably give it like an 8 out of 10. The thing that would up that, it would be a slightly better bike. This will be fine. I'll probably use this bike until it falls apart. But if I was to change it, I would definitely upgrade the bike, make it a little more comfortable, maybe a little more ergonomic for myself. I'm pretty tall, so the bike's got to be adjusted a certain way, and this bike just it's not quite perfect for me, like, especially if you want to do like the thing, like, I forgot what they call it, but like when you like lean over when you're biking, like you're really like leaning over the handlebars. That's pretty difficult with the bike I have, at least with my height. So overall, I give it like an 8 out of 10. But it's been a cool experiment, and you guys can go ahead and do this. It's super easy. Just follow along with the directions. And like I said, the total breakdown of price is like $200 for the bike, $40 for the sensor, and then $12.99 a month for the membership. So minus the monthly membership, you're kind of looking at about $240, maybe $250, depending on the deals you can find on Amazon for this particular setup. So you can be part of the Peloton, what would you call it, ecosystem, the Peloton sphere. You can be part of that for, a couple $100, like, and kind of see if you even like it. Maybe you do really like it and you want to invest in the expensive Peloton bike, but maybe you don't want to do that right away. Like, you want to see, do I even like these cycling classes? Do I like spin classes? This is a great way to try it out for a couple $100, and if it doesn't work out for you, you could sell the bike or use it for something else. So that's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more kind of like fitness reviews or like technology hacks like this, like fitness technology hacks, go ahead and let me know in the comments below, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.